He's one of them. He's not the plumber guy, but he's one of the redneck comedians.
Everything else, but that's been a little
Yeah,
bruiser.
don't follow the stock market right now. It's so
Yep.
baffling. It's so crazy. Like, what is going on? Like, the whole world is mad at us. Trump's playing golf, and in between swings, he's
Right.
on the phone with presidents of countries.
Yeah.
We're gonna need more money.
Yeah, that's what somebody told me the other day. Like, is he playing checkers? Is he playing chess? He's playing golf.
He's playing golf.
That's
Like,
what
what
he's
does that
doing.
mean? Everybody wants to think there's some like grand plan to it. Well, they think the grand plan is, look, we remember back when was it the 92 elections when Ross Perot was in?
Mm-hmm.
So when Ross Perot laid out what happened, do you remember during that debate where Ross Perot laid out what happened with the tariffs? So that like when we try to sell stuff over there, we get a high tariff. It's like a 35% tariff, but they don't get tariffs when it comes over here. It's not the same. It's not like, you guys, there's a tax on everybody if you want to sell your goods to encourage people to buy American products. If you want to sell your products in America,
Sure.
we get a tax. That tax goes to the fucking grid or whatever the hell they're fixing with it.
Right.
And Ross Perot was laying it out like this is how all the jobs went to Mexico. Because have you ever seen that, Jamie? It's see if you can find it. It's a great speech because Ross.
When he talked about the giant sucking sound.
Yes,
Yeah.
you actually mentioned that
Right.
earlier
Yeah,
in the
that's
podcast.
what I was talking.
Bro, in Ross Perot's time, what's really funny about people talking about shit that politicians were saying like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, is that the global trade scheme that we designed, the American government designed, was nowhere near as complex. Okay? Like, that is, like, he was right then. And so was Bernie Sanders, and so were all the trade protectionists. But the idea that, like, this is still applicable after those guys' voices were not heard and American capital did what it wanted to do, like, the notion that, like, this is still the same dynamic here is so fucking stupid.
to other people's thoughts.
I think so too. That's why I'm so close-minded. And I really am. I'm truly close-minded, and I think you're open-minded. And
I try to be.
And I struggle with that because just letting people pour information into my head,
Yeah.
you know, I just tend to avoid it. I
Isn't this the fucking you might be a redneck guy? He's like, right? Am I crazy?
am engaged, you know, in that I do follow things closely, and not the stock market, but
It's the Canadian tax rate. I know it's higher than Americans.
I know mine's a bitch.
And when you go over there, you have to pay taxes too. Like if you do a gig,
Yeah, you have to pay taxes.
yeah, you pay Canadian taxes on your
And
gig.
you get paid in Canadian dollars. I'm not going up there much for shows.
Yeah.
But, you know,
So here it is. Canada's top federal income tax rate is 33%, while the U.S. is 37%.
right?
However, when combining federal, provincial, state taxes, Canadians often face higher marginal rates across various income levels. That's interesting, that theirs is only 33%, ours is 37%. I thought ours was lower than theirs.
I thought ours was 40.
Well, it is when you get to a certain tax.
Talk to anyone in Europe about how much taxes Americans do end up paying. Okay, at every bracket. And they will look at you like you're the most insane person of all time. Because Americans do pay a decent amount in taxes. But guess where that goes? Bombing Yemen. The answer is always bombing Yemen. Okay? Someone has to bomb Yemen. Yemen is not going to bomb themselves. We have to bomb Yemen. Excuse me. Israel has a right to do a genocide. And anyone that tells them that they can't do a genocide is going to get bombed. Sorry. That's how it works. And the reality is, it's not that the American taxes are high, okay? In comparison to some countries, it's lower. In comparison to some countries, it's higher, but it's unexpectedly higher. It's what we get in return. At the local level, at the federal level, a lot of it goes back to either subsidies that then turn into some form or another stock buyback, or of course defense, bombing Yemen, or R&D. And at the local level, it goes to not bombing Yemen, but instead the domestic military force, which is the police. Sometimes also to Israel, ironically enough. Yes, some of your state taxes will literally go back to subsidizing Israel. How fucking insane is that? Look it up if you don't believe me.
Bracket, correct? Isn't it? Ours changes when you get higher, right?
Yeah, it does.
33% on the portion over $246,000. What's ours in terms of like the highest tax bracket? What's the highest U.S. Is it 37? That's what it is? What's really crazy to me is when people say the rich should pay more taxes. Okay, fine. But where do you think that's going? Where's that going? Where's the money going? Is the money going to the federal government? Do you think they're good at it? Do you think they're good at managing your money? Have you paid attention to all the shit Elon's fucking uncovered? 37% is when you make over $609,000 a year. That's you, motherfucker.
Yeah, well, that's...
Yeah, Elon Musk is saving the
Currently,
American
there's-
government. Anyway, Tim Pool met with Benjamin Netanyahu, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't that fucking insane? Tim Pool, foreign agent of Russia, Tim Pool, is also a major glazer of Israel. Okay. He has kind of joked about being a glazer of Israel because he knows that in the space that he occupies, like, you can't really be openly and actively shoveling Israel's dick down your throat because people will say, especially in his audience, people will say, oh, you're like a Jewish Mossad agent. Or they'll say that, Mossad has blackmail on him or some shit because they're fucking stupid. So he can't openly be shoveling Israel's dick down his throat, but he will still do it regardless. Okay? And for Timothy Poole being pro-Israel, just like a fucking CNN anchor, has yielded tremendous benefit. Okay? Tim Poole, just like Asmongold, is a centrist, a liberal-aligned centrist, but the liberals got far too woke for his taste, that type of shit. You already know. You already know what that looks like. Asmongold's doing the same damn thing. Okay? But because he is not an actual centrist, no such thing really exists, and a Republican institutional defender, he's tweeting out shit like this. Israel derangement syndrome. I said, Tim Poole's an Israel dick rider. He's been cowardly on this issue from the jump. That paid off for him as he's now in the press pool talking to Netanyahu directly. Remember that next time you think about quote unquote independent media. That's right. Tim Poole's a part of the White House press pool, ladies and gentlemen.
It's fake news about me. So last night I wasn't here. I got late word that I was invited to a private roundtable meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. It was under what's called Chatham House rules. For those that are not familiar, this means that you cannot reveal anybody who attended, nor attribute anything to any one individual, as they can deny it, and they would. However, what I love about what the White House is currently doing, when you bring together a bunch of influencers and podcasters who don't know much about journalism culture, whatever you want to call it, not that we respect it tremendously, most people didn't know what Chatham House meant. So,
oh, he's mad. He's mad that the other people that were invited to the press pool outed Tim Poole for dick riding Benjamin Netanyahu. Bro, you shouldn't have throated him so hard. Is Tim going to say Israel's an enemy of the United States? Oh, fuck no. He's going to say Hamas is an enemy of the United States. He's not. He's pro-Israel.
With all due respect, it's funny because they bring us into the Blair House, which is where Netanyahu was staying. And immediately people are walking around with their cameras, their phones up. They actually took our phones from us. And I legit thought they would maintain Chatham House rules, meaning you can't quote the prime minister, you can't quote his officials and the other people who are there, but you...
Dog, you're a journalist. What do you mean? Or you're not, but in this situation, you're portraying yourself as a journalist. There's no such thing. Like, there's no fucking... The fuck? There's no Chatham House rules when you're talking to a fucking statesman of a foreign nation. Like, what?
You can report what was said generally. If you wanted an official quote on a specific matter, you would then ask an official once the meeting was wrapped.
Oh my God, he's literally... Oh, dude, this is like access journalism and Israel dick riding and direct access to a foreign leader. Tim Poole is literally CNN. Oh my God. Tim Poole is doing CNN.
And they'd provide you the exact quote. Or they would just say outright, like, we ain't putting our quotes on that one. So the story that comes out, which basically violated whatever, I was going to talk about what we went there for a reason. This story from...
Oh my God, this video got 17,000 views. What the fuck? It's good to support small content creators, though.
Jewish Insider says Netanyahu pushes back on anti-Israel trends in a meeting with podcasters. I don't know if the individual who wrote this, Lahav Harkov, was actually there, but this is wrong. It's fake news. And people are now spreading fake news about me because I'm going to go ahead and say as arrogantly as...
Oh my God. I'm reminded of the time when Tim Poole said, I fell off and I wanted to kill myself because I fell off and I was really sad. Remember that? Remember when the guy who's getting 17,000 views on his video was like, Hassan fell off and he wants to kill himself. Like, he did a video about me, about something that he misunderstood that I was joking about in jest in my own Discord.
As I can to everyone else who was there. I hope you all hear me, because I'm saying this somewhat facetiously. I think I was the only one that asked a real question. Now that I've pissed off all the other journalists and individuals who were there, most people were asking what I would describe as, I don't know, I felt like pretty obvious questions. Is there going to be a war with Iran? Do you think the nuclear talks are going to be good? The Trump is going to be talking with you. Will it work out for you? What's the concern? What's going on with your prime ministership or whatever? And you get these answers that I really felt like you could have just got a Fox News. You know, the prime minister is going to get asked about this stuff and he's going to say, I can't speak too much on the nuclear deals, blah, blah, blah. Considering this was Chatham House and it was expected whatever he said was going to come out, I didn't see anything really substantive. However, in the story, they say, Poole expressed concerns about increased anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism in the pro-Trump podcasting space, according to sources in the room, so they weren't there. Poole famously had Kanye West on his podcast, and the rapper walked out mid-interview after Poole pushed back against anti-Semitic comments. Responding to Poole, Netanyahu said that the reason he invited the group is to meet with him. To me? Poole argued that there is a Qatari op to manipulate social media algorithms to make anti-Semitic and anti-Israel.
Oh, so you weren't asking questions. You were just making shit up. You were just simply making stuff up, it seems. Making stuff up that the Israeli government would appreciate and enjoy. What is this?
Dude, I'm concerned with having American aircraft carriers over there. Like, what I keep being told about the USS Liberty. That's something with the Israeli government.
No, you should.
No. Wait.
You should be careful about that one.
Allegedly, the Israeli Air Force jet fighter aircraft.
I mean, they did end up paying out the American government.
So I'm concerned, like, false flag operation, like a missile comes out of Gaza and hits one of our aircraft carriers, but it was actually an Israeli missile. Well, I don't want. We should get out of there.
It doesn't. But let me stop you there. It doesn't matter whether.
You should be careful. No, it would be good if Israel did that. Actually, it would be good. Don't say that.
The missile comes from.
That's weird, huh?
Dude, he's Mr. Rebel, dude. Thank God the voice of truth is out there, you know?
Israel episodes appear to receive far more views than, say, tips for picking up women, in order to incentivize podcasters and YouTubers to produce more anti-Semitic content. Ukraine is the enemy of this country. Ukraine is our enemy, being funded by the Democrats. I will stress this again. One of the greatest enemies of our Ukraine is the enemy of this country. Ukraine is the enemy of this country.
Oh, I love that.
Non-committal in his response, saying that's only possible. Fake news.
How dare you, Tim?
Absolute fake news. It's close to reality, but this is what they do, okay? First, the person who was there clearly wasn't there. Ask somebody who then conveyed incorrectly what I actually said. I said there has been a report released from pro-Israel sources alleging Qatar is funding bots and operations to promote anti-Israel content. Is there any evidence that's true? And he said, I don't know. It's possible. That's what happened. I did not say.
Do you see Zelensky lying about China being Ukraine? Oh my God, bro, just signed the mineral deal. Yeah. Oh, Zelensky. I did. I saw. He's like, yeah, these dudes.